engineering, particularly into the land closure, as well as, the landfill closure, as well as looking at the site. And we also had him look at a 10-acre site. In that 77 acres, is it possible to put a public works garage on that site, and what would it take to do it? He went down there and did preliminary studies of that. He'd done test boards, he'd done the whole thing down there to take a look at this. He did this, about 3 or 4 years ago.
That's correct.
And when Mr. Hurley, if you're going to address a couple of these things on this, I think you know, and I think everyone should know that we're not going to put anybody at risk down there. And that's the reason that we want to be so careful about the environmental issues that are down there. And so anyway, if you can just give a quick rundown on what you know of that 10-acre site.
Okay, well, since those studies years ago, when the town was taking action to protect that, or to make sure that the site was safe, we've done additional studies. The concerns on a site like this are that the studies are undertaken. This site had a lot of history of different kinds of disposal on the property, and also the potential for migration of contaminants from the landfill. So having a good understanding in any of the areas that are going to be developed is critical to doing things right, doing it correctly. This area that we did look at for the public work, for the 10 acres for potential development by the town, really didn't have anything, we didn't find anything significant there. The location was far enough away, and it was up on the bedrock, away from the groundwater plume that was coming from the landfill. And then the soils themselves, where they've been tested, were not found to have anything significant present there. It was when we first discussed this location, this was one area we pointed to based on the limited information that we had at the time. But for instance, debris piles, other evidence of dumping on the property and everything, this was a relatively low-risk area of the property.
Question for Mr. Hurley, please? Ma'am?
Yeah.
No, ma'am?
If you're going to go into another discussion,
No, it's just
ask the
one
question, and
simple
then it's
question.
like, because there's a lot of people out here that
I'd
want
like
to
to
know what's
ask
going
one
on, and it's
simple
not fair to them. So go ahead, what's your question?
Mr. Hurley also determined 7 years ago that that whole site was fine for housing, which he said under oath, and lately in a deposition. So that's not the concern. We know that Tabor
Well, I
is...
think I
we
can
know
help
that,
you out
no,
there.
you gotta hear what I have to say. We know that Tabor has tested fine for the last 25 years. Your concern was the potential that made you take this piece of property from a Branford family and cost us $20 million in the process. So don't confuse what you were saying 7 years ago to what has always been said about that property, and that is quite frankly that it was always safe for housing, public works, everything. That's the truth.
When Mr. Hurley, who never had an opportunity to finish what he was saying during these depositions, I believe he'll say that almost anything is possible, is it, can you pay for it? It just gets beyond being able to do it by the court, sure it comes cost prohibitive. The
What did
issue
you
out
say?
there, Mr.
I don't
Cook, we're not
understand a
going
word
to
of that.
rewrite history. Tonight, ladies and
Can I ask
gentlemen, you
what you
have,
just said?
that's enough.
Pardon me if I asked you to clarify what you just said. I couldn't understand one single word of that.
Mr. Hurley
Yeah.
said that you could build houses on there, but its cost would be cost prohibitive.
No, he
Never-
did not say that. That's an absolute falsehood. No, they
What-
never questioned him about that.
Of course, you never had an opportunity. Go ahead.
What occurred was that we said that additional studies needed to be undertaken. Those studies would cost money, and at the time, no one wanted to undertake the studies that were necessary in order to support the fact finding to determine that residential development would be safe.
I'm sorry, but they did a phase two, did they not?
They did not do a phase two.
I
They
have
did not
phase
do
two
a
in my
phase.
house.
All right, that's enough, Wayne. You're going to listen to the man that's been there. He's been there. You take a walk down there through there, you're
You
not
know,
the
I got
expert.
the
He is.
phase two in my house. Don't tell me they didn't do
Go
a
ahead,
phase two.
Mr. Hurley, please finish.
I just
That's
wanted
the
to
last
say-
up, Wayne.
They did a phase two, a very, very limited phase two that did not meet the state standards.
They did the complete phase two, forget it. You know,
That's enough?
Forget it.
Okay,
Any
okay.
more hired guns you want to bring in here?
You know,